The reason I decide to do home selling webinar is enough times I hear people, they want to sell as is. And usually it's not because their home is in such a bad condition. It's more of they don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. And they think it's going to cost way more than what really is. So we will talk through the home selling in a big picture. And we'll go through some before and after samples of the repairs, what we did before putting the house on the market. Also some marketing example as well. And we are going to go through the frequently asked questions, and you can ask any questions. You can put it in the Q&A section, or if you want to rather talk, then you can raise your hand, then we will unmute you so that you can talk. And there are no bad questions. There are no dumb questions. So feel free to ask any questions you have. My goal today is to give you a roadmap so that when the time comes that you know what to expect and how you can start. Okay, now I'm going to share the screen. I hope you can hear me because nobody is saying you can't hear me. So I assume that you can hear me. I'm going to share the screen to start. Okay, there we go. Selling your home. First of all, just a little bit about me. I have a kind of hard name to say, so I have a slogan, Hyunsu Lathrop, a name that is hard to say, but easy to trust. I'm originally from South Korea. I went to Indiana University to study an opera. So that's me singing in Madame Butterfly with the Indianapolis Opera. Just a little bit about my team. These wonderful ladies help me to help my clients better so that I have more time for my clients and they help with the back end work. Hyunsu Lathrop by numbers came from South Korea, 2000. 2015, I was the Rookie of the Year for Coldwell Banker Woodbury office. And since 2020, I've been number one agent for the Coldwell Banker Woodbury office. I made it to top 1% agent worldwide for Coldwell Banker. And I talk about this not because I am number one, I am so good. I am talking about this to let you know working as a realtor is not my hobby. It's my mission, it's my obsession. And I do have 100% five-star reviews. I'm licensed in Minnesota, and I'm waiting to get the Wisconsin license. It's pending. It's any minute now. I also am a manager associate for Coldwell Banker Woodbury office, and this year I'm a director and executive committee member representing Coldwell Banker Realty for Minnesota Realtors. How about a little bit about Coldwell Banker? We have over 1,800 agents in Minnesota alone, 22 offices. Internationally, over 92,000 agents and over 3,000 offices. I was in Italy one year with my mom and I saw Coldwell Banker Realty sign, which was very cool. Okay, now home selling process. It is a little bit like a maze. First, you have to decide, do we want to sell the house or do we not want to sell the house? When do we want to sell the house? When we sell the house, where are we going to go? Are we going to build? Are we going to buy? Or are we going to rent? And if we decide to do that, who's the right agent? There are many agents. We have a joke that if you don't have a realtor friend, you have no friend. So you have to decide which agents you want to work with. And once you decide, you have to make a plan on what do we do first? Do we move out first? Or do we live in the home while you're selling? Or do we move out halfway? And what do we do first? Are we going to build it? Or how are we going to do it? And what are we going to do it before we put the house on the market? So preparing the home for the market is really important. I want you to know it's not the one size fits all. I do hear this all the time, like, should we replace a carpet? What color wall paint should we do? It will be depending on your home, where you are, and the price range as well, because different buyers are looking for different things. Once the preparation is done, then you put the house on the market. And how you market the house is obviously very important. And you sell the home and you close on the deal. So let's talk about this. So we are now going in a little more detail that you decide. I mean, you call me. This is what I usually get. I either get a call or text message or email, say, hey, I found you online. I want to sell my house. The very first thing is this. Why? It's not, okay, let's put your house on the market. It's more of, why do you want to sell your house? Sometimes it's, I want to sell my house. Like, or sometimes I need to sell my house. Those are very different situations. And let's talk about which category you fit into. Sometimes they just, ran out of space. Their family grew more. They need a bigger home. Sometimes the kids moved out, the house is too big. So they want a bigger house or smaller house. Sometimes I'm in a townhome right now and we want to move to single family, vice versa. And it can be not even downsize. It could be just style change. We wanted a two-story before. Now we want a Rambler. And some people just don't like the look. Their current house, I don't love the house anymore. I hate it. And I want to move. So the options are, you can buy, you can build, or you are done with owning a home, you can just rent. For some people, just renovate. One of my very best clients, meaning one of my very favorite clients. I have worked with her many times and her family many times buying and sell. And one time she asked me to come over for dinner, and then she said she wanted to sell her beautiful home and downsize and move to other location. And I asked her, why are you thinking of selling? And her answer was, the yard work is just way too much yard work. And the house is too big. But, I've known her for years, and I know it's important to have privacy. And what she was looking is, I don't think she would be happier in a home that she moved to. So instead, I recommended her that, why don't we put the washer and dryer on the main floor? Since right now it's in the basement, probably will cost $20,000. Luckily, she had a space to put the washer and dryer, and you could hire people for the yard work for rest of your life. That will be still cheaper than selling a house and buying a house. So her house probably could have sold for $750,000 and bought the next home for $600,000. But in her case, how to achieve her goal was renovating. So that's why it's really important to talk about why you want to sell. So for some people, it's not I want to sell, it's more of I need to sell. It's a lot of times relocation. That happens a lot in Minnesota. And sadly, sometimes people are going through divorce. And some people just decided this is a time I'm going to move to assisted living or 55 plus to, accommodate my current lifestyle. Sometimes you have to help your family member going through a tough time with like losing mom, losing dad. And sometimes you're renting a home to a tenant and you're done with being a landlord and no more tenants. So that's why you decide to sell. So now we talk about why we are selling, what are different scenarios of selling. Now I want to talk about the preparation. Preparing home to put the house on the market. What's really important is getting rid of the eyesores. Let's say there's a stain on the carpet. It's like staring at you. It's obvious. It could be washed. It could be like sometimes some of the carpet, if you have remnants, they could cut it and just repair that part. We have cut some part of the carpet from the closet area to repair that part and then put a different carpet in the closet instead of replacing the entire carpet. We see a lot of wrinkled carpets, and many people think you have to replace a carpet because it looks ugly, but you may not have to. There are companies who will come and just stretch the carpet, which is much cheaper. And we talk about the updates. Light fixtures are one of the easiest thing to make an update look, and really easy and not very expensive. And in this photo, you can see not just the light fixtures dated, but you see all different type of bulbs, light bulbs. And so many times you go to the bathroom and there are three light bulbs. One is yellow, one is blue, one is like CFL. We want to match the light bulbs so that they look, put together. Because if you see blue, white, yellow, it just looks, that instantly make the house look cheap. The recommendation I have for the light bulb colors are 3000 K. Those are the one the builders use currently. I don't think I have to tell you why it's so important to clean your house, declutter, because you think buyers can look over those. Really, they can't. So it's really important to clean and make it show as nice as possible, look almost like a model home. What we do want to hear is, wow, do people live here? That's what we want to hear. Some people have an amazing yard. The yard, it's the curb appeal. It might not add so much value to your home when the appraiser is looking at the home, but so often buyers fall in love with the home because of amazing curb appeal. So make sure we take care of that as well. We talk about how to neutralize the decor of the home. It's really important to attract as many buyers as we can. So as cute as this Barbie house is, it might only attract a few people, and we really want to neutralize the decor so that we can attract as many buyers as possible. So here are some samples of what my clients did. These people decide to move. They just ran. I mean, this was not the house they fit their current need anymore. They decided to build their dream home. And what they did was we made a plan on building, and then we are going to move out first and then sell. So we did a home prep list fixture selection first on things we can do without moving first, like measuring things and ordering items and installing light fixtures and identifying what we need to do. Some of the light fixtures are just really outdated, and we saw some rotted spot on the deck that we need to get that done. Some of the wood floor was really damaged, and this one we actually decide to refinish the wood floor. So you can see in one photo, it was in between the work. And there were old stain from when the kids were really little. So we got that completely painted as well, but that was actually during the second round. And we did arrange all the workers. The reason why we want to arrange the worker first is by doing that, you save time. So as soon as you move out, you have all the workers lined up. So from you moving out to the time that the house goes on the market, often it's 2 to 3 weeks. It can be all done in that time. We did clutter, and then we did a prep round 1. And then we did a prep round 2, which was we had to replace some of the window panes for this house and then paint the wall and some outside work. And they moved out to their dream home. And then we did the round 3. That was the wood floor refinish, and then entire ceiling paint and the wall paint. And then we launched this listing. And this was when it was done. After they moved out, we did all the work, changed a few light fixtures, changed some of the window panes, refinished the floor, and staged the home. This one was moving out halfway. So they are relocating to another state. And we didn't want it to move out completely because we had to buy a house in the other state. So we were working directly with an agent on the other side, another state as well. We had a relocation moving plan done. And then just like the other home prep list, and then we chose the fixtures. We arranged all the workers in advance. We start decluttering, and then home prep round one when like some of the like grout in the shower had to be repaired, the ceiling fan had to be repaired, and then they moved to the lower level. So this home was actually 3-level split, and they were upstairs, but we wanted to make sure the master and also primary owner suite, or also the kitchen, the living area looks the best. So what we did was we moved their items to the basement to stage the basement, and also their bedroom is used as a guest bedroom. And then we did a round 2 for home prep. And then round 3, what we did was hire a staging company to come out to stage the main floor and primary owner suite. In the lower level, we used their furniture and my staging items. And then we launched the listing and sold it first weekend. And you can see this after photos when it was done. So for this one, we did paint the kitchen cabinets because there are some scuff and like some scratched areas. We painted some of the walls. We picked out the walls, which walls we want to paint. We didn't paint the entire walls. Just bad walls we painted, matched the color. Some of the bad ceiling we painted. This one was, they were staying in the house while they're selling. We had a set up home moving plan first. These people, we actually decided to build a home, and we wanted to sell it because we needed money to put down for building. And hopefully, we are hoping we could rent back a little bit or maybe rent. So we found the builder, we found the lot, we found the layout, and start working through the designs. And then we started home preparation list and the fixture selections, what we are going to change, where we are going to do the work. Again, work arrangement, always do that first. Because they live in the home and they have children, it was very important to declutter and pre-pack because they're going to move anyway. And then we stored some of the items in the storage unit. And then once like maybe a third of the items are in the storage unit, now we have a more space to work with. And then we did the round 1 and 2, and then we did the round 3, and then using their furniture and my staging items because they have little children and they have pets. We can't have a staging company bring in their furniture. So we used their furniture and my staging items, and then we launched the listing. When we sold the house, what we did was in the morning, they close their current house so that you get the funds from that house. In the afternoon, you close on the new home. And then we managed to actually rent back for a couple of months. So which was super nice so that they can stay in their home for holidays. And then they moved to a rental place for a short time. So this was the one after it was ready to put it on the market. They still live in this home. These furnitures are theirs. I brought the lamps and the decoration items, trees and pictures. Again, on this right photo, it's their furniture. I think I brought the coffee table and the blankets, etc. By the way, if you have any questions, you can write it down so that you can ask me later or now, or you can always call me or text me as well. Okay, this one was they're relocating. But they had to stay here before they moved because they did not want to move twice. So we set up the moving plan for relocation. Same thing, preparation list, fixture selections, and they arrange the workers. The workers are including, so I am working as a contractor a lot of times. So the workers we are talking about are painters, handyman, a plumber, or electrician sometimes, and very rarely, but most of the work we are doing, handyman can do, and yard people, or let's say, yeah, cleaning people, or sometimes we have to clean the roof. Sometimes we have to clean the gutters, so, and also window cleaning as well. And sometimes if we have a really nice patio, we want to show off the patio as well. So they pre-pack and store their items so they shows the best. We did 1, 2, 2 rounds, and the third round using their furniture again, my staging items. We launched the listing again. They closed their current home. And we did 2 days of occupancy so they can close their new home and then move to their new home directly that day. So this is hard to believe they are living in a home like this. But we wanted to make sure the home looks like a model home. So I thought it's interesting to see how many people moved out first versus living in the home. So most recent sellers, these are from last 64 sellers I work with. I went through, did they move out or did they not move out? So I went through all of them to see. There were 29 relocation people. 17 of them moved out, and 9 of them moved out halfway. 3 of them stayed in the home while they're selling. And the people who decide to rent, these people are going into either nursing homes, assisted living, or a 55 plus, so they are not buying anymore, they're just renting. 7 of them moved out first. 3 of them actually just halfway moved out, and 2 of them stayed in the house while they're selling. The people who are buying a house, more people actually stayed in the house. So 6 of them stayed in, while 2 and 2 moved out or halfway. The people who are building, there were more people actually staying while they're building as well. And 3 of them moved out, only 1 halfway. So I thought this was interesting. Okay, this is an example of light fixtures, how we picked out light fixtures and plan it together. So this was already a very beautiful home, very well maintained. They had very nice light fixture, current island, these 3 lights, dining room had this light. Our goal was to sell this house for $900,000. And to reach that goal, we decided to change all the old-fashioned lights, or kind of showing the era of when the house was built. So we total of, I think 12, no, more than 12 light fixture we changed. So you can see we picked out master sitting area, we are going to do this, master bathroom, we will do this. Small offices, we put drum light, the hallways, we put this light, that light. But what's interesting is this, that we changed this many light fixtures. This is a big house. Entire thing, including the light bulbs, cost less than $1,200. So when you think about that, and it completely changed the look. And they actually sold this home for $929,900. That's what they sold for, way more than we expected. So this is the photo when it's done. And they were living in this home, by the way. We used their furniture and my staging items. So this is a before and after photos. This before, main level, first thing you see when you walk in, you saw the pool table. They really didn't want to remove that because it costs money. I think it costs like $250 to move the pool table to the basement, but I thought it was important to do so. So we moved the pool table downstairs and didn't even paint the walls. We replaced the light fixture, we staged the home. Same thing. This one, we replace the light fixtures, sconces on the wall and the ceiling, and then we stage the home. This one, we sold it multiple offers, 939,500. It was listed at 900. These people moved out halfway, and they had a really great quality furniture, but it was a very particular style. And I thought it will be important to make a style that more buyers will like. So we painted some walls. I mean, very few walls actually, because the house was already clean. We painted some of the walls, and then we replaced the light fixture, the chandelier. And then over the island, we only replaced the globe, the glass globe. Instead, used to have a kind of old-fashioned style. So instead of replacing the light fixture itself, for that one, we just changed the shades. This one was listed on the market with another agent for, I think, 3 or 4 months, and it didn't sell. And they came to me that they wanted to get a second opinion, and ended up working with me, and I fell in love with them. This home had a beautiful furniture. The home was really nicely well maintained, but what I thought was, because a lot of buyers are looking at the photos with using their phone, it's important to show well in a small screen. And having this green wall, I didn't think it helps. So we just painted kitchen. That's the only thing we did. And we staged the home, and we sold over full price the first weekend. This one was interesting because they wanted to sell the house as is. As you can tell, the deck was rotted, and they moved to another country. They don't live in the house anymore. They had a tenant in for 1 year. They were really nice tenants. They kept the house very nicely, but the deck was always like that. And so we couldn't even walk on the deck. It was so bad. And because they don't live in the country, they wanted to actually sell the house as is. And he came in for a short time to meet with me. And he said, I want to sell it as is. I don't want to do anything. And I explained to him what we could do, and I will manage everything. So I got 3 different estimates for the deck. We put a new composite deck and the railing and the stairs. It's a really large deck. And then they had a second deck next to the primary owner suite. So 2 different decks. The prices were like all over the place, but we got a really good price at under $25,000 to get 2 sets of composite deck done. And remember that they wanted to sell as is. We sold it for full price at $950,000. If we sold this house for as is, I don't think I could have even sold for $825,000. So we painted some of the walls. We washed the carpet, didn't even replace the carpet. We just washed it. I replaced all the light bulbs because a lot of the ceiling lights were CFL, that it just looked really bad. So we changed to, floodlights, which is super easy and cheap, and staged the home. These are some of the example of full house staging. The company I recommend is, they're very good. They are the one who staged like model homes. So they really help your home to look like a model home. Very, I would say very reasonably priced. And it's worth every single dollars or every single penny. So this is another example of staging. Another example. These homes are all the homes that I have sold that were staged by the same company. This is a home that I call the occupied home soft staging. These are the ones that we use seller's furniture with my staging items to make it look as nice as we can. Again, we use their beds, and I brought the lamps, I brought the candles, flower things. I think more and more people are using the virtual staging. So this is an example of virtual staging. I personally don't use a virtual staging much because virtual staging can be very good. As you can see, this was a 1-bedroom condo. For this case, it was good, but I show homes as a buyer's agent as well. When the buyer walk in the house, if the house is empty, their eyes are wandering around to try to find the flaws. Not because they are mean, it's just human nature. You don't know where to look at. So they are looking around, seeing the flaws on the wall, seeing the flaws on the floor. But by staging the home, we tell them where to look at. We tell them how you will live in this home. So that's why it's really important to stage the home. As you know, photos are really important. Some people call it like a professional photography, but there are many different type of professional photography. So I would say it's really important to make sure your agents are using a good photographer. And nowadays, videos are also one of the really good way to market your home, because photos can do only so much. Video help you imagine living in the home a little better. So I think like fireplace, double-sided fireplace. And you will know 3D virtual tours, it's pretty common. I mean, not always, but I do it all the time for homes that I know the buyers might come from another state. Some people will not fly in to see the home until they see the virtual tour, because they need to really see the layout, walk around by clicking through the layout. So I would say 3D virtual tour is also very important. And these days, social media marketing, of course, is very important, because some people find the home really truly through social media, because your sister saw the home in social media and then like, oh, hey, sending the photo or video. So I do a little bit of HGTV moment here. And the new things that I started doing last year is a Zillow showcase. Still, so many people are using Zillow for finding a home. And when the agents choose to pay money to Zillow to be showcased, it will show up on the search better. And it actually shows differently. And you will see the listing agent's information, so that when they have a question, they can just contact the listing agent directly. Reverse prospecting is, as a listing agent, I can tell which agents have a buyers that receive this home through their auto search. So unlike Zillow can be anybody can just save the photo. If you like the table, if you like the wall color, people save it for fun. These are the people who are actually working with the agent, meaning they are more serious, and they put a heart, and I can invite them to an open house. Okay. Now, the time to launch the listing. And the big question I hear is, how much should we list a house for? And everybody has their own opinion. But what's important is really think about your home. Is this a one-of-a-kind home? Or is this, you have a lot of comparable homes on the market? What's sold in the neighborhood for how much? In the last 6 months is usually what the appraisers you look at. But for us to really see the market, we know the appraiser will likely use 6 months, but we can look at all the way to 12 months or even more, depending on how unique your home is. And of all the homes that we saw that sold in your neighborhood, which one is most comparable? So think about this. Your neighbor might have sold for 700,000 and your home is bigger, but you're a 2-story, they're 1-story. They are not really a comparable homes. If your home has 6 bedrooms, that has 3 bedrooms, not comparable, and vice versa. And also not just the price, we want to know how long did it take to sell. We can check on the market in the MLS that this house was on the market on this day and then lower the price this day and it sold this day. We want to see how long it took. What other homes buyers would look at before seeing your house. Think about this. We are in Woodbury. I live in Wedgwood in Woodbury. The people who will be looking at my house will probably look at Stone Mill Farm and look at Dancing Waters. They are going to look at probably all same school district 833, but then see all the homes. And you have to know, how do we show compared to others? And another factor, of course, is there are new build. So we have to make sure that we know who the competition is. I mean, in Korea, we have a expression, know yourself, know your enemies, and you win every battle. So we have to know ourselves, our house, and what other homes are out there, and also what kind of buyers are we looking at. So we will compare your home to the active listings. What's important to know is, well, that house is on the market for 800,000. So mine should be 820. That 800,000 on the market, that doesn't mean that's a sold price. If that house has been on the market for that price for 3 months, that means it's overpriced. So we want to be very careful about how we list. And it's not just like, I want to list for this much. Let's put it lower on the market to sell quick. Some agents have a different strategy. Some like to put it slightly lower to sell it quick. Some put it on the market high and see what happens. To me, it's more of a, what kind of home do you have? Certain homes, we want to put it on the market slightly lower, knowing we will get multiple offers to get more. Certain homes, like very unique homes, we are going to have a smaller pool of buyers. Then we might want to list it a little high, knowing they are going to try to negotiate. So the example was one of the townhome that I sold on Powers Lake, one level. That one, I knew we agreed it should be somewhere around 550,000. But because we are going to make it look really nice, my thought was we probably will sell for 570-ish. But if we list it for 570, it's going to take some time and might sell for 570. But instead, we listed at 550 and we got multiple offers. It was just only a few months ago. We got multiple offers, ended up selling for 605. And there's another house in Woodbury. That one had an indoor swimming pool. And the price range I told them was anywhere between 800 to 900,000. So for that one, I told them it's going to take some time to sell because it's really unique home. So it's going to be depending on what kind of homes we are looking at. Frequently asked questions. How long does it take to close once house is sold? Depending on the financing, if it's cash buyers, it could sell as quickly as 2 weeks. A lot of times a lender with even financing, they can sell for 4 weeks. Most commonly I see like 6 weeks. And sometimes, of course, you can sell it and rent back for a few months. What is the best paint color to use? We went from beige to gray and a white. Right now, it's the beige, warmer gray is coming back. So currently my favorite is Benjamin Moore Edgecombe Gray. That one is a warm gray. I used to love Revere Pewter, which is really beautiful color, but then that's all more on the grayer side, a little bit darker. Should we do an inspection before putting the house on the market? You know, that's a really good question, because if you do an inspection, every home has issues. Every home, even a brand new home. We have to disclose everything we know, and inspection will have to disclose to the buyers. When buyers do the inspection, they don't request everything to fix. Like, current code is different than what it was 5 years ago, and they are not going to ask you to, they shouldn't be, but they wouldn't be asking you to make the house to meet the current code. For example, currently new construction, they don't allow outlets on the island, kitchen island. I have outlets on my kitchen island. I love it. And the current code, it's not up to code. And things change. So some of the homes I recommend, if there is a concern that we do need to know and fix in advance, those I recommend doing an inspection, but not all homes. And speaking of disclosing, people ask, what do we need to disclose? Well, I had a water in the basement like 10 years ago, but we fixed it, no more issues. Should we disclose it? My answer is yes. We disclose any and everything that you can think of. Try to remember every part. Here's an example. One of my clients, they were selling their home and we were talking about the disclosure. They said, we've seen bats in front of our porch, never in the house. We've seen, not the bats, actually, bat droppings in the porch. And should we disclose that? I mean, we never had an issue. So they only asked because I was emphasizing how important it is to disclose. And when they asked me that question, I said, yes, please disclose exactly what you know, what you experience. We put it in the seller disclosure. We have seen bat droppings in the front porch periodically. It wasn't even a lot. It was just certain time of the year. A year later, after they sold that cabin, I got an email from the buyers telling actually, they had a bat infestation in their attic and it cost a couple of $1,000. They want seller to pay for it. But because we disclosed what we knew, my seller didn't have to pay anything. So that's the important part about the disclosure, not just doing the right thing, it will protect you for the future. So if you have any doubt, I always say disclose everything. Should we paint cabinet white? We see some oak cabinets, and many people do not like the yellow honey oak. My answer is it depends. Some of the buyers, so again, we have to think about who are the buyers and what kind of wood do we have? Like, do we have a cherry cabinet from late 90s? A lot of times, my answer is no. It's cherry, it's a beautiful cabinet, we wouldn't paint it. And if you have really cheap oak look wood tone cabinets that are not really good quality, but certain demographic, they like white cabinets better, we might paint those. We will get the estimate to decide what's gonna be the good benefit or not. Do we really need an open house? Some people actually tell me that when I meet with them, they say, by the way, I don't want any open house because I don't want my neighbors coming in. I don't want any open house because those are only looking at homes. They are never buyers. I would say this, the people who I told you about the bets, they were selling their home for $900,000 and we had an open house scheduled. The first day on the market, we got a full price for $900,000. And then we had an open house scheduled the next day. And, they're my friends by that point because they already worked with me a couple of times. They say, oh, you don't have to do open house. Just take a day off. It's okay. But I said, let's just do the open house since I already scheduled it. The buyers walk into the open house, fell in love, and they made an offer for $950,000. And my personal house in Woodbury, when we sold, we got multiple offers, but the winning offer was the people who came to the open house. So I sold more than 20% of my listing from the open house. So when we know there's a huge chance that we could sell for more or we can sell it, why not do the open house? Yes, it takes time, it takes energy, but I would recommend doing it. The big question I hear now also since the lawsuit last year is that do we need to pay the buyer's agent? The answer is we never had to pay the buyer's agent. We never had to. Like another states, in Minnesota, the buyer's representation paperwork shows buyers will pay the agent 2.7% or 3%, whatever they negotiated, it says buyers will pay, but when seller pays, that reduce their obligation, meaning buyers are supposed to pay the buyer's agent's fee, but when seller pays, buyers don't have to pay. Then why do we pay the buyer's agent? It's a marketing strategy for me. Buyers are coming to, on the market to buy a home. They have a certain down payment and a closing cost ready for it. Let's say if they have a 5% saved for the down payment, and it costs about 3% more for the closing cost. If they had to pay their own agent, they needed another 2.7 or 3% cash to buy this home. Then they are going to compare this home versus this home. This home, I have to pay my agent. This home, the seller will pay. Agents will get paid through the house price or through sellers. It's more of a strategy. What do you want to do? And selling a home, what's important is to open up to as many buyers as possible, including the buyers who might not have the extra cash. So that's why my recommendation is plan on paying for buyer's agent. So I do represent buyers and sellers about half and half. And since the law changed that we don't have to pay, which we already didn't. But anyway, now that people know more about this, how many times buyers actually had to pay the buyer's agent? There's only once. That was my listing. We had multiple offers, and it was not even, they didn't want it. They didn't want sellers to pay the buyer's agent. It was more of their strategy. Instead of going higher than the listing price, what they did was, we will give you the listing price, and then we'll pay the buyer's agent so that we don't have to worry about the appraisal issue. What if it doesn't appraise the amount they are bringing? So that was the only time I had it personally. How long does it take to sell the house? That's another question I hear. Because when you are putting the house on the market, we need to know how long does it gonna take. So I thought it might be interesting to see the chart. So this is median days on the market in Woodbury. As you can see, this is all price range in Woodbury, all property type. I did not include the new construction because the new construction takes longer. And all price range, you can see anywhere between like 10 days to up to 60 days. More around 30 days average. How about the homes in Woodbury between 600 to 800,000? Again, previous owned home only 600 to 800. Now they're takes a little longer to sell. Some around 30 to even 100 some days, or some might be longer, but that's unusual, but more of month and a half or two. One thing to know is some homes goes on the market and then they take it off the market and then come back with a new price. So that might actually entirety was like, even though it was 120 days, but if you actually sold it after they lower the price, it might only show as 60 days or less. How about the homes on the market that are over 800,000? This, you can see what's interesting is it might be 3 days to sell the house, or it might take an entire year to sell the house. The higher price homes, there are fewer buyers, but then they know what they want. Sometimes if they see something they really like, they just buy right away. So it could take only a few days. Or because if it's really unique home, there are fewer buyers anyway, it might take longer time to sell. Now you sold the house. You are under contract. What happens next? Everybody signed the agreement. Buyers will send the earnest money that goes to listing agent's brokerage. Buyers will do an inspection. the lender will send the appraiser to make sure the house has a value as much as the offer that they made. After the appraisal, that's when we remove the staging items. We want to make sure the home looks as nice as possible until this appraisal, because appraisers are human too, and we tend to sell for a higher price than the neighborhood, and I want to help the appraiser to be able to appraise it as high as they can. And then the seller will change the mailing address, utility change, and sellers are going to pre-sign a couple of days or a week before the closing. So sellers don't come to closing anymore. And then a buyer will sign on the closing date. And the funds will disperse to the title company, the pay of the mortgage, and the fees to agents, etc. And you will get your money back. I do want to talk about the cost of selling. Mortgage payoff, the first mortgage and the second mortgage, or any money that you got from like COVID relief funds or anything will be paid off. Any unpaid bills from contractors. Some of my workers, they are okay getting paid at closing, like my carpet people. They are wonderful, by the way, really good price, and they know they can get paid at closing. A lot of times, special assessment, buyers will put a mark that seller will pay special assessment in the contract. So in that case, that will be paid through seller unless it's written differently on the purchase agreement. And then you will be paying the listing broker commission, and that is negotiable. And then a lot of times the broker have a flat fee. For Coldwell Banker, it is $599. And I told you about the buyer broker commission. Again, it's negotiable. It's the marketing strategy in a way so that you can bring in most people. So again, both commissions are negotiable, and there are some flat rate agents to like full service agents. And even the full service agents, there are 3%. There are people who charge 4%. I have seen 4.5%. So you need to find the right fit. Title company charges the fees. And the property tax will be prorated. And the state deed tax for Washington County will be 0.0033 times the amount of house price. County recording fee is $46. Conservation fee, $5. Some of the HOA has a transfer fees. So that we will check with the HOA companies. Nowadays, the title company will collect some money for the water bill in advance so that they don't have to hunt you down later. That will be usually like $150 or $200. So we went through all this. This is kind of weird because I don't see you and I don't hear you. I'm just talking to myself. So here's a summary of the home selling. Obviously, planning is really important. So find the right agent to discuss the next step on if and when to move. Then she will take care of the rest. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go to Q&A section. I stop sharing now. Okay. All right. So Kim, looks like we did a lot of talking myself, but I want to make sure that if there's any questions, I want to answer. And of course, you can reach out to me directly if you have any questions. And if you want me to stop by at your house and see what should you do or what should you not do. So I am right in here in Woodbury, and thank you so much again for joining me. I see some of the names I know, some that I don't know. Well, thank you again. I will stay here for a couple of minutes in case one of you or two of you have questions. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.